When you master every step in the sales conversation as I've laid it out to you over our video series, you're going to find that asking for the business doesn't feel risky at all for you or the prospect. It feels inevitable and it feels like the natural next step. I'll tell you more in just a minute. Hi, I'm Jeff C. West. I'm the award-winning author of 4 business and sales parables. I have over 30 years of successful sales and leadership experience across multiple industries. I've shared the stage, both in person and virtually, with legends like Bob Burg and Brian Tracy. I know what it takes to help you win in sales and leadership, and I'm here to help you do exactly that. So let's get started. Today we're going to wrap up our series on creating fusion points in your sales conversation. And we focused in on the key components that make an effective sales conversation happen. We talked about the rapport phase.
I don't think so. No.
Where you actually establish a quick relationship with that prospect. We talked about the discovery phase, where you're asking skillfully designed questions that get that prospect to comfortably open up and discuss their issues and potential solutions. They will actually say what they need to hear if you do your job right. Then we talked about the recommendation phase, where you're presenting your solutions and you're linking them psychologically. You're creating the fusion point with how your solution solves their issue. And then we talked on our last video about the credibility phase, where you're presenting social proof that you know that everyone thinks you do a great job at what you do. Now today, we're going to talk about the close. And if you've done every step as I've taught you, what you're going to find out is the close, it almost becomes so easy it seems wrong. And it's because you've set so many neurological anchors in the process. You've been great at what you do. You've built a great relationship. You focused on them. You focused on their value from your proposition. So they like you. They've developed this relationship with you even during this conversation. So if you do this well, like I say, the close becomes almost a foregone conclusion. I have to tell you a story. I had a gentleman who worked with me in the insurance industry. He was one of my recruits in my district up in North Texas. He was so great at doing this. He said he never had to close the sale. When he finished all the parts that he did, he just says, well, here's what we need to do next, and started the process, and they went right along with it. He was my top new group opener, and he was 67 years old the day we hired him. He was tremendous. So the process really does get that simple if you do your job well. But a couple of things that help you throw it in the right direction for you. One of the ways that you can close a sale is pretty simple. Do exactly what Ted did. You can actually say, well, here's what we need to do next. If they have an objection, it'll come out at that point. My favorite way to close a sale was always to get the prospect to say no. Early on in my sales career, I decided a lot of prospects would rather tell a salesperson no than tell a salesperson yes. So I would ask the question that when they told me no, they were actually saying yes. And the question was this: well, now that you've seen all this, do you see any reason we shouldn't move forward with this? Well, no. And they were telling me yes. That was my favorite way. You'll hear all kinds of ways to get it to close a sale. Would you like to do this in blue, or would you like to do it in yellow? Give them a couple of choices. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Here's my advice about closing the sale. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple and memorize your closing question so that you know what you're going to do, but it doesn't need to sound like something that you memorized. It should sound like something that's so natural to you that you're the person who invented it in the first place. But I think what you'll find is if you go through each of these parts, when you get to the closing question, it's going to be a moot point. They're with you. Are you going to get them all? Of course not. Nobody's that good. Well, as I wrote it in the Hidden Heist, some are, most aren't. All right, so this is totally rambling. And I really don't care. It's the last video in the series. Anyway, you get the idea. And on our next video series, I'm going to teach you in depth how to become objection-proof. If you'd like to study ahead, there's a book that I'm going to recommend to you. It's written, I co-authored this book with my friend Bob Burg, and it's called Streetwise to Saleswise, Become Objection-Proof and Beat the Sales Blues. I'm going to spend some time teaching you how to become objection-proof. Take care. Bye-bye.